know how to play checkers, but I don't know how to play chess. But I mean, anybody can play checkers. I mean, it's a pretty easy game. I got my broccoli soup right here with some bread. My mom made it. It's so fucking good, man. And yeah, I mean, it's fucking good. But yeah, you know, I thought let's just learn some chess or something. I don't know. So we already learned that the king is like the checkmate thing, whatever. So we're on to the queen.
As well as diagonally. Unlike the king, the queen can move as far as she wants in any direction. The one thing the queen can't do is jump over other pieces. Let's look at some queen moves. In this position, the queen could go all the way up the diagonal. She could slide all the way across the board. She could now move all the way down here. Or she could make some shorter moves, like here, here, and here's another queen move. Earlier we mentioned that the queen cannot jump over other pieces. In this position, let's say the queen wants to get to this square. Notice that the king is currently in the way of the queen. So the queen would have to move to another square first, and only then, on the next turn, could the queen move here. Now that you've learned how the queen moves, it's your turn to practice moving the queen.
The powerful queen wants to travel all the way to the top of the board in a single move. Well, don't I just do that? What? Oh. And then you would move it there, right? Wait, what? The queen wants to move straight up in the board and reach the top left hand corner, which is here. Can you find a queen move where it can reach its goal on the following turn? I'm fucking confused. Is it right here? I don't know. What? Why is that correct? But okay, if I were to move it here, and let's say it's his turn, whatever he moves. Oh. Oh. Yeah, I understand now. Yeah, whatever the fuck. Oh, my dog just hit her head. Alright, I'll give you some broccoli soup, dude. Just chill, okay? Alright. I probably shouldn't be eating in my desk. The queen is ready to climb the diagonal to reach... Yeah.
After the queen, the rook is the second most powerful piece. It can move up, down, and to the sides as far as it wants, but the rook can only move in straight lines. Like the other pieces we've looked at so far, the rook also can't jump over any other piece. Let's take a look at some rook moves. In this position, the rook could move...
Can the king jump over pieces? I don't know. I don't remember if he said yes or no.
Straight up. It could slide to the corner. It could move all the way down the board. Now it could swing to the other side. Or it could make some shorter moves, like here and here. Now that you've learned how the rook moves, it's your turn to practice moving the rook.
my cousins, they're like really young. One of them's like 8, and then the other one's like 6, I think. But they're really good at chess, man. And they're always talking about chess, and I'm like, no, I only know how to play checkers. And they get like all disappointed because they want to play chess with somebody that's not them. And I mean, they do in like games and stuff in school, but they'll probably beat me in chess.
The rook.
What? Oh. That was easy. Damn, chill. Both what? Oh. The top right hand corner square, but only one rook can travel there in only 2 moves. Which rook? That one. The rook on the lower right hand corner. This one. Stop crying. I gave you 3 pieces of broccoli soup with bread already. That's too much for a dog already. Can you guys see her? She's like right here. I'm literally touching her. She'll probably want to get on the desk like right now, so you might see her. Is blocked by its own pieces. The rook wants to move to the lower left hand corner in just 2 moves. What? Yeah, this one can't move that. Oh, I'm so good.
The bishop is one of the most interesting pieces in chess because it can move as far as it wants, but only on diagonals. The bishop, just like the other pieces that we've met so far, cannot jump over other pieces. This means that the bishop has to stay on the same colored square it starts the game on for the entire game. In chess, you get 2 bishops. This bishop is called the light squared bishop because it can only travel on the light squares.
Oh.
Meet the other bishop that you have in the game, the dark squared bishop. It moves exactly like the light squared bishop, but only on the dark squared diagonal.
What?
Now that you've met both bishops, let's take a look at how they move. With just 1 move, the dark squared bishop can enter the longest dark square diagonal on the board. Let's do the same with the light squared bishop. Now, notice no matter how many bishop moves we make, the bishops never cross paths. They never block each other. And the reason why is because they're on opposite colored squares, so they never interfere with each other. They make a good team. Now that you've learned how the bishops move, it's your turn to practice moving the bishops.
I like the horse piece. The horse piece is cool. I want to know about the horse piece. What? The bishop dreams of visiting the top left-hand corner of the chessboard. Can you find a... Yes. Wait, what? Oh! Oh. There, and then you would go there. Wait, what is it? What is it asking for? The dark squared bishop is in the center of the board. Can you move the light squared bishop to the square directly to the right of it and have both bishops in the center? Yes. The bishop wants to travel to the other side and reach the top of the board in just 2 moves. Can you find a way? And you would go there. White's bishop is ready to climb to the top of the chessboard. Move to the... Nice.
The knight is perhaps the most fun piece in chess.
Oh, the knight is the horse. Ah, nice, nice.
Yes, it is the only piece in chess that does not move in some sort of straight line. It moves in a strange L shape. The other interesting thing about the knight is it's the only piece in chess that can jump over other pieces, like this.
Oh, fuck.
It takes a little practice to understand exactly how the knight moves. It goes 2 squares in one direction and then 1 square to the side, like this. Highlighted are all the possible squares the knight can move to on the next turn. Notice it always moves in the same pattern. 2 to the side and over 1, like this, or like this.
That
Up 2
broccoli
and
soup
over
was
1,
good, man.
or down 2 and over 1. And notice that the knight moves from a light square to a dark square, and then on the next turn it moves from a dark square to a light square. The knight always switches colors with each turn it makes.
Tag team, man.
Now that you've learned how the knight moves, it's your turn to practice moving this fun and tricky piece.
What does this do? Oh, hell no.
The knight is perhaps...
A knight wants to reach the top of the chessboard in a single move. Can you? Oh, that's so. I don't know, man. Chess is kind of exciting. I'm kind of intimidated though. Oh, you guys like the cut? Bowed. No, it's not bowed, but knights love to be in the center of the action. Move the knight into the center of the board. Sorry, okay? Okay? Most of the knight squares are blocked by pieces. Can you find a forward move to bring the knight to the center of the action? Find the square for the knight that would be able to reach all 4 black pieces. Is it that one? Oh, okay. I don't know. I thought like in 2 moves you could probably go boom and then you go boom and then do that, but I guess not.
The pawn sounds like it is the humblest of chess pieces, but it is really one of the most powerful. When working together, pawns are the soul of chess. Pawns have a few strange rules, so make sure to pay attention. Pawns can only move straight forward, and they can only move 1 square at a time.
That's
However,
so stupid.
if it is their first move of the game, they can choose to move 2 squares forward if there is nobody blocking them, as pawns cannot jump over other pieces. Remember, the pawn can choose to advance 1 or 2 squares only on the first move. On all other moves, the pawn advances 1 square. Pawns are also the only piece in chess that cannot move backwards. One other thing that makes them strange is that while they can only move straight forward, pawns can only capture diagonally, and they can only capture 1 square away diagonally, even if it is their first turn. We will explain capturing in one of the next lessons. Let's see some pawn moves. In this position, since this pawn has yet to move in the game, white decides to move it 2 squares forward. Black, on the other hand, only advances this pawn 1 square. Remember, even though you can move your pawn 2 squares on its first move, you're not forced to do so. White now advances the pawn forward, and now both pawns are blocked and cannot move. In this position, how many white pawns can move? If you said 1, you're correct. Notice that this pawn is blocked by the black pawn directly in front of it. Remember, pawns cannot move backwards. White now has the option to move this pawn up 1 square. Notice this pawn cannot move 2 squares forward because the black pawn blocks it. Now it's your turn to practice using the pawns.
Hmm.
Remember, your pawns are the only pieces that cannot move backwards, so what happens when they reach the other side of the board? They get a promotion. You must trade your pawn for another piece. It can be a knight, a bishop, a rook, or the powerful queen. It cannot stay a pawn, and it cannot become a king.
Damn.
Also, it does not have to be one of the pieces already captured in the game. Every pawn has the potential to be promoted into a queen. You could trade it for another queen and have 2 queens on the board, which is incredibly powerful. Now, let's practice promoting some pawns.
Okay. What? Wait, what? Oh! Yeah. White has a pawn 3 squares away from its promoting. What? No, it's not. What? I mean, it can only move up, right? That's the only thing I can do, though. What, I need to move one of these, or what? I can't move black, though, can I? See, I can't move black. White has a pawn, 3 squares. What is the white's best pawn move to play for a promotion? I don't fucking know. Why would that be the best move? I don't understand. Why? I don't fucking know. We have a pawn. What? We have. Oh, because this guy's here? Go boom. What's this? Is this the king? Right? White is up a pawn, but white's most advanced pawn is blocked by a black pawn. White does not have 2 pawns. White does have 2 pawns on the side of the board. Can you find a surprising pawn move that forces the pawn through promotion? What the fuck?
Now that you know how the chess pieces move, it's time to set up the game.
I forgot what they all do.
Before you put the pieces on, make sure you turn the chessboard so that there's a light square in the bottom right corner. You can remember this as white on the right. The easiest way to start placing the pieces is to place all of the pawns on the second rank for each side. In chess, rank is the word for row. Let's put all of the white pawns on one side of the board and all of the black pawns on the other side. Now let's put the rooks out in the corners. Let's follow that up by putting the knights next to the rooks. We'll soon learn that the knights are placed on the B and G files. In chess, file is the word for column. To continue, let's put the bishops next to the knights. And now we're left with the king and the queen. Does it matter where they go? Yes, it does. The queen always goes on the matching square. The white queen goes on the light square, and the black queen goes on the dark square. Notice they should be lined up together. Finally, put the kings on the last empty squares. Now you're ready to play. In chess, each side takes only 1 turn at a time, and by tradition, white always moves first. Now that the board is set up, it's your turn to practice making moves for both sides.
Honestly, man, I'm gonna tell you, there's 3 reasons why I want to learn chess. 1, my cousins. 2, I don't know, I'm watching the Queen's Gambit and I don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm like, oh, is she winning? Oh, is he winning? Oh, is she gonna win? Oh, is he gonna win? Like, I don't know. So, I mean, even if I learn a little bit, I'll be like, oh, she can move here and then whatever the fuck. And then the 3rd reason is, I was just interested, man. I'm just interested. Oh shit.
In order to get better at chess, you will need to learn notation, which is often referred to as...
What the fuck is that? What is that? Sleep. Just sleep. NF3? What? Not fucking 3. Dick 5-2. What? D5. D5. Knight. Knight. What?
as the language of chess. Every square on the chessboard has a name, which is actually just its coordinates. As we mentioned before, each column is called a file, and each row is called a rank. Every file in chess is given a letter, starting with the letter A on the left side of the board and going all the way to the letter H on the right. Every rank is given a number, starting with 1 on the white side of the board and going up to the number 8 on the black side of the board. Each square is named by its coordinate pair. Let's meet some of the squares. This square in the lower left-hand corner is known as A1. Notice we identify it with the letter first and the number second. Let's take a look and see where the E file meets with the fourth rank. Notice the arrows point at E4, so this square is known as E4. Let's draw a diagonal starting from A1 and go all the way up the board. Notice we land on the H8 square, and in between these squares we see B2, C3, D4, E5, F6,
G7.
and G7. Together, this is known as the A1 to H8 diagonal, because the diagonal begins on A1 and ends on H8.
H2, G3,
now that you've learned how to label
F4,
each square on the chessboard,
E5,
it's time to learn the notation of
B6,
actual chess
C7,
moves. Each piece has its own letter for chess
B7,
notation.
A8.
In this example, the king's letter is a capital K. With white to move, let's say the king is going to move to the E2 square. The way we describe that move is by saying the piece's letter first, which is capital K, then the square it moves to, E2. Remember, a piece always begins with a capital letter, and the square is always lowercase. So after the move, King E2, putting it all together, we say K, E2. Let's say black wants to play King to D7. In this case, it's the same idea.
That's not my problem.
Capital
That's
K,
like
lowercase D7. So piece, then square. K, D7. We will use the same idea for all the other pieces. The rook is a capital R, the queen a capital Q, the bishop a
B.
capital B. The knight, however, is a little bit different. Since the capital K is already used for the king, we use a capital N for the knight. For example, N E6. Finally, you may think that pawns are a capital P. In this case, pawns are only written as the square that they move to. For example, after the move E4, the notation is simply the square the pawn moved to, E4. Now that you've learned the language of chess, it's your turn to practice using chess notation.
White wants to march a pawn up to the board A5. White wants to attack black's pawn on B7, invade the 7th rank with RD7. Rook D7. White wants to cut the black king off from the F file. Play the RF2. Jeez. White can move 2 pieces to D8. Play QD8. Where the fuck is Q? There's no Q! Oh. Q. Oh, that's... Oh, my bad. QD8. White can move 2 knights to E4. Play NG E4. What?
You've already learned how to move the pieces, and we've mentioned the idea of capturing. Let's talk more about capturing. In chess, when you
How many more
capture a
lessons
piece,
do I
you
need?
simply move your own piece to the same square as your opponent's piece and replace their piece with your own. The captured piece is then removed from the board. You don't stop before the captured piece, you replace it entirely. Let's watch this queen capture a pawn. Now let's watch this knight jump over one of its own pieces to capture the queen.
Holy shit!
Capturing pieces is a critical part of the game. However, you do not have to capture a piece if you don't want to.
Well, I will be capturing.
That being said, if you can capture more of your opponent's pieces than they capture of yours, it's going to be much easier to win. One question about capturing that we haven't answered is, how do you notate a capture? Let's say in this position that you plan on taking the black queen with your queen on b3. A good idea. You would write the piece that will capture it, in this case, the queen. So we use a capital Q. You then write an X, which means captured. And then you write the square where the piece gets captured. So after queen takes e6, we would write...
Like, if I was a total noob and they told me to annotate, it'd be like, I'd write queen, like the actual whole letter queen, and then the whole letter captures, and then I would put e6.
Q, X, e6. Here is one more capturing question. How do we notate a pawn capturing a rook and promoting to a queen at the same time? Does it sound complicated?
Yes.
Don't worry, it's just one extra step. We start by notating the capture. Remember, we mark a pawn with the file that it is currently on. In this case, the pawn is on the B file. So we would write a lowercase b, then we would write captures, which is an X, so
Captures.
lowercase b, X, and then the square that we capture,
captures.
A8. So
A8.
BX A8. So far, we have BX A8. Since we are promoting to a queen, you simply add to the end of your move an equal sign, and then write which piece you are promoting the pawn into, which is usually the queen. So putting it all together, we would write B takes A8 equals queen. Now it's your turn to practice capturing pieces.
White's mighty queen is fighting against an army of black pieces. Can you find a cap for white? White is Penny. My mom, she just came home and my dog wants to go say hi. But, oh man, she's gonna. Alright, I'll go take her out. We're back. White is down a queen for 2 pawns. Not so good. Can you find a capture that could turn the game around for white? Black is up a knight and all the white's pawns are blocked so they can't move forward. Can you find one pawn that can capture a piece? Oh. Black's bishop is threatening to capture white's rook on a1. You're gonna capture my cunt. The rook is blocked by its other pieces and can't move. Can you find a way to save the trap? Got it. In this position, white has several captures, but only one of them is good. Can you find white's best capture? "12 lessons?"
Check is the word that is used when one piece is threatening to capture the other side's king. Check basically means look out, king in danger. Let's take a look at some examples of playing check. In this position, can you see how white can threaten to capture the black king? That's right. Bishop to f6 check. White's bishop puts the black king in danger of capture, so black must deal with this check. In the next lesson, we will learn the 3 ways to get out of check. In this position, black's rook can put white's king into danger. After rook d1, the white king is in check, and white must respond to this attack. Finally, in this position, black's pawn is ready to capture the white knight. Remember, pawns capture 1 square away diagonally. Can you see how white can escape the pawn's attack and place the black king into check?
Yes.
If you found knight to g6, great job. The knight escapes danger and now puts the black king into check. One final question is, how do we notate a check? It is pretty easy. All you do is add a plus to the end of your typical move notation. This means after writing ng6, you add a plus at the end. So it'll look like this, ng6 plus, meaning that black is in check. Now it's your turn to practice playing check.
Okay. White has 1 check in this position. Find it. Fuck. 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 I have no idea. Why? Because this shit can move straight up or what? Can't I go like... Oh, because I'm only in black, that's why. White has 2 knights and a rook, but only 1 piece that can check the black king. Find the move. Ooh. I know it has something with these. I don't really need to be close to the guy, right? So this thing can move 1, 2, and up. So if I move it here, it would go 1, 2, and then up. No, why would it go down? That's so stupid. It can't possibly be this one. Yeah, see? Oh my god. I don't understand chess. I really don't. Black's king is hiding behind his pawns. Find the best way to attack it with a check. Oh, that? Or would it be like one of these? Right here. Why? Why would that be the move? I don't understand. I don't understand, man. Right now it's pretty easy, but I don't understand
As we
checks,
learned
man.
in the last lesson, when the king is in check, it must get out of check. You cannot ignore check and play another move you want to play while leaving your king in check. You have to stop the check. Luckily, you have 3 easy ways to get out of check. The simplest way to get out of check is to move your king to a square where it is no longer in check, like this. Another way to get out of check is to block the check with one of your other pieces. Oftentimes, the best way to get out of check is by capturing the checking piece. Now let's see you escape check.
Fuck. Black screen has white kings on check. How can white escape check? So this fucker will eat me. Boom. Black screen once again has white's king in check. Can you find the best way to respond? Oh, my bad. Ooh. White's king is in trouble. It is in check, and all of its escape squares are covered by the black queen or blocked by its own pieces. Can you find the move that are boom? White's king is in check. Can you find the best move for white? White can't block it? Oh, I'm sorry. Why not? I'm out of the way, right? What, man, like... What the fuck? What can I do that? Is this a glitch? Like... I'm so dumb, man. Black screen is checking the white king. Can you find a way to block the check and deliver a check in a single move? Who's black? I need a check? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Black screen is checking the white king. Cause she could do that or what? Can I do this? What? I'm technically blocking it, no? Oh. See, it does escape check, but there's a stronger one. Sometimes you have to be weak to be strong. But how does that make a difference if she can eat me either way? That doesn't
If
give
a
me
king is in check, and it cannot escape check by moving, blocking, or capturing, then the king is said to be in checkmate. That means you win. Or maybe your opponent won. Again, checkmate is the entire goal of chess. It doesn't matter who has captured the most pieces, or how long it has taken, or anything else. If the king is in checkmate, it's game over. Once the king is in checkmate, you don't have to take the king off the board. It's time to shake hands and say, good game. Now it's your turn to checkmate.
I just wanted to eat that. Alright, well, black's king is surrounded by pieces. It looks safe, but white can win the game in a single move. Can you find it? Imagine if that's the one. I have no idea. I can't find it, I guess. I'm gonna keep guessing, I don't care. I have a feeling it's like this or something. Oh, there's my dog. Okay. Okay. What do you want? What do you want? You're done? Are you done? Are you trying to give me a kiss? No, miss him. Miss him. I have a feeling it's this. Yeah, see, I knew it was that. I just wanted to fuck around. Alright. Black's king is trapped in the corner and cannot move. Can you find a checkmate to win the game? Imagine I could like capture this fucker. I don't know. No way it's like one of these, right? Why? What does that do? I don't understand. What does that do? Fantastic. Bishop, king, checks. Like, what? I don't understand, man. White's rook on f7 has trapped the king on the back rank. Can you use the other rook to deliver checkmate? That was just a guess. I'm gonna go to the Russian real quick though. White can deliver checkmate in one move. Can you find it? Is it perhaps this?
Chess can often be a long game with more than 100 moves played, but it can also be incredibly short if you want it to be. Many people want to know, what are the fastest checkmates? And we are going to show you, but keep in mind, none of these checkmates can be forced. These are only checkmates that you literally have to try to do on purpose because they can be otherwise defended very easily. Let's see the shortest possible checkmate on the board. White plays f3, not a great opening move, already exposing the king on the e1 to h4 diagonal. Black opens with e5. Notice the black queen is already looking at the weakened h4 square, ready to pay the white king a visit. White plays g4, further weakening the e1 to h4 diagonal, and the black queen pounces on the h4 square, delivering the fastest checkmate in chess. Notice that the white king cannot move, there's no way to block the check, and you can't capture the checking piece, so after 2 moves, the game is already over. In fact, it's time to start a new game. Let's see that idea again, but this time it will be white delivering the checkmate. After e4, black plays f6, d4, g5. Can you spot the checkmate?
Yep.
That's right, queen h5. The fastest checkmate for white is in 3 moves, and the fastest checkmate for black is in just 2 moves. Let's hope you never find yourself on the wrong side of this checkmate. Now
I
it's your turn
probably
to
will,
practice
man.
the fastest checkmates.
Oh shit. Alright. Oh, what, do I have to move it now? White's king looks weak. Can you find a winning move for black? Oh, I'm black now. White opened the king by moving the pawn to f3 but did not move the pawn to g4. What? I don't really know. I'm not paying attention. Black's queen checks the king, but can you find the one move that saves the game for white? Oh my god. Oh my god. What will save the game? Oh, because I'm in a check, right? Yeah. I don't know, man. One of those, probably. Can you find the white's worst move that allows a checkmate on the next turn? Yes. Can you find black's worst possible move to allow checkmate on the next turn? They'd probably... Wait, what? Oh, mine! Can you find black's worst possible move to allow checkmate on the next turn? Yes.
There is another kind of mate on the board called stalemate. Stalemate is what happens when your king is not in check, but you also have no other legal move on the board. And when this happens, it's a draw, and nobody wins. You might be absolutely winning your game and about to checkmate the opponent's king, but if you...
My mom's calling me, hold on. Oh. ¿Dónde? ¿Me llamaste? Oh, okay, bye. She said she got the wrong number.
you fall into stalemate, it's a draw. This is best explained with some examples. In this position, with white to move, the game would be a stalemate, because white's only piece, the king, does not have any legal squares to move to, and white is not in check. In this position, let's say white plays queen to c2. The queen gets one square closer to the king, but notice black's king is not in check and black does not have a legal move in this position. The position is a stalemate. Remember, in chess, you're never forced to make an illegal move, so black cannot put the king onto a square where it would be captured. In this position, can you find a better move for white? White can actually win the game in just one move after queen b2 checkmate. Remember, your opponent can never be in stalemate if they are in check. In this position, black looks doomed. The king is trapped in the corner. White is ready to deliver checkmate on the next move, and black is down lots of material. However, chess is a game of many opportunities, and even when things look really bad, you might have the chance to save the game, or at least draw. Notice that since black's king does not have any legal moves, if black's queen disappeared from the board, it would be a stalemate if it were black to move. In this position, can you find a way to make black's queen disappear and create a stalemate? If you found queen takes h2 check, great job. White must deal with the check, and the only way to get out of the check is to capture the black queen. Now the only remaining piece is the black king, and since black's king does not have any legal squares, and black is not in check, the game is a stalemate. What a save by black. Let's take a look at this position. If white played the move queen to c7, it's not a very wise move because white, first of all, could have won the game immediately with queen to b7 checkmate, but also queen to c7 traps black's king. But does that mean it's a stalemate? Not in this position, because notice black has another piece. Black could play the move h3, allowing white to correct the mistake from the last move and deliver checkmate.
I'm not paying attention.
Notice if we added another pawn, just this pawn on h3, the position would now be a stalemate with black to move. Now that you've learned about stalemate, remember to stay alert and avoid it when you're winning, and when you're losing, keep your eyes open for the opportunity to save the game with stalemate.
Yes. So what, like, can these cunts eat me or some shit? Stalemate! I don't know, man. I'm still confused about chess. I know where they go now and all that shit, but I still feel like I might make like some illegal move or something. How to save the game for white? Oh, I guessed. Okay. Black has set up a stalemate trap by offering a queen as sacrifice. A queen? What? Let me read this correctly. Black has set up a stalemate trap by offering a queen sacrifice. White is in check. Can you find the move that avoids a stalemate? This guy wants to sacrifice his queen. So he wants her to eat her, right?
Stalemate is just one of the possible ways to end the game in a tie. Another way is to simply agree to a draw. This might happen if neither player can see a way to victory. One person offers the draw, and the other can accept or decline. Another way to get a draw is if the exact same position is repeated 3 times. After 3 repetitions, either player can claim a draw when it is their turn to move. Or, if you're playing online, a draw will automatically be called after 5 repetitions. Another way to draw is if neither player has enough pieces to checkmate, like lone king versus lone king.
Yes.
You'll learn more about this later. Finally, you can also draw if 50 pairs of moves have been played on the board without any captures or pawn moves. This keeps you from dying of boredom as you and your opponent move your rooks back and forth forever. Now it's your turn to practice drawn positions.
We have entered a completely drawn endgame. Can you find the move that immediately forces white for a draw? White is down a pawn and a white's king is on the other side of the board. Completely out of the action. Looks like white is losing, but can you find a way to block the position so no pawns can move? Fuck! I got so sleepy just playing chess right now. How many more lessons do I need? How many lessons are there? Okay, so I should be in like this one or one of these, and then I'll leave after this. So that's a shit ton of lessons. White is in serious trouble. Oh no. That sound is so good. I don't fucking know. Alright, White is in serious trouble. Can you find a way to save the game by forcing a draw? Yes. No. Do I move again? What? Okay. White is down a rook for a pawn, but can a pawn is a what? But the pawn is one move away down from promoting. Can you find a trick that forces a draw for white? white's rook is under attack and black is ready to promote the pawn into a queen. Can you find a sacrifice that forces a draw for white? Yes. 4 more lessons.
One of the most unusual rules of chess is called castling. This move was invented to speed up the game and do 2 things at once. When you castle, your king moves toward the safety of the corner and your rook comes toward the action in the middle. You literally are moving 2 pieces at once, but it counts as just 1 move. You can castle in either direction, left or right. In either case, your king moves over only 2 squares, and then the rook from that side is moved directly to the other side of the king, like this. And here's another example of castling. Let's say you're playing a game right here on chess.com. Here are 2 ways you can make the castling move. The first option is to drag the king to the square where it will castle, and then the rook will automatically move.
Why is this long
like
as fuck?
this. Another option is to click the square the king is currently on, in this case e8, and then the square where you will move the king, g8. So we click e8, followed by g8, and now we're castled. Castling is a great move with many benefits if it is used at the right time. However, there are a few conditions that may prevent you from castling. First off, you cannot castle when you are in check. You must first deal with the check before trying to castle. Secondly, you cannot castle if your king would castle through a check, or after castling, your king would land into a check. Next, you cannot castle if there are any pieces in between your king and your rook. It must be completely empty. In this position, both white and black have to move 1 piece before they're able to castle. After knight f3 and bishop c5, for example, both sides are now able to castle kingside. Finally, you cannot castle if your king has made any other move before, or if the rook you are castling with has already moved. It must be the first move for both pieces. In this position, the only legal castling move is for black. Since white's king has already moved, white cannot castle. Notice black can only castle with the rook on h8 because the other rook has already moved. What is the notation for castling? It depends on if you castle kingside or queenside. In this position, let's say white castles kingside. The way you would write it is 0-0. If black now castles queenside, we would add 1 more 0. So it would be 0-0-0.
Holy fuck. If it weren't for my dog right now that was knocking on the door, I would have been fast asleep. Holy shit, chess is boring as fuck. Alright.
One way that can help you remember this is notice on the king side there are 2 squares between the white king and the rook. Notice.
I don't care, man. I really don't. What? Black king is already safely castled on the king's side. White king is prepared to castle queen's side. Can you find the move to the white kings? Can you find the move to castle white kings? No, wait. Is it this? Is it that? Is it this? Is it that? Is it... Ah, okay. White wants to castle, but black's bishop is on b4, has the king in check. Since a king can't castle out of a check, can you find the best way to block this cut? Yes. White wants to castle kingside, but notices it's impossible because the king cannot castle through the black bishop's check from the a6 square. Can you find another way to castle? So I'm checked by this, right? White's rook on the king side has already moved, so white's only chance to castle is on the queen side. White can't castle right now because the king would come directly into a check from the black's bishop. Can you block the black bishop and prepare to castle on the next turn? Yes.
The last
See, I didn't even finish the video. Castling is fucking easy.
weird rule in chess is called en passant, which is French for in passing. This rule was introduced at the same time pawns were allowed to move 2 squares on their first move. When that happened, sometimes pawns would move past other pawns without giving the other pawn an opportunity to capture, which didn't seem fair. So en passant was invented. Pay attention, it's tricky. If your opponent's pawn moves forward 2 squares, which it can only do if it is that pawn's first move, and it lands directly next to one of your pawns, then on your next turn, and that turn only, you have the opportunity to capture that pawn as if it had only moved 1 square. Like this.
What?
Take a look at that again.
Why?
If a pawn is moved forward 2 squares and lands next to another pawn, that pawn can capture the first
So basically it's like, oh look, I knew you were here, so get it, right?
pawn on its very next move. You move behind the pawn as if it had moved only 1 square and capture
Best
it,
pencils
placing it
ever,
off
man.
the board.
You should.
You might get some weird looks if you do this move in a game with someone who doesn't know, but it's an important rule of chess.
Do I not have lead in this?
Now that you've learned en passant, let's have you try it.
I'll fuck you up. No. Is that actually? See, I'm so good at this, man. I find alternatives. Get the fuck out. My dog's barking. Why are you barking? Why are you not barking, but you're crying? Why are you crying? Capture black screen with the B4 pawn. B4, 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 B4. What the fuck? B4, B4. What? B4, B4. What the fuck? Oh, no. Yes.
Now that you've learned how to move, to capture, to check, and checkmate, as well as do the special moves in chess like castling and en passant, it's time for you to feel what it's like in a real game. In a real game, nobody is there to tell you what to move. You have to think and decide, what is the right move? Should I move a piece? Or can I capture something? Should I castle? Or try to...
Why is this video 3 minutes long? This is the end of the stream right here, guys. We're gonna continue off in lesson 10 or whatever. Yeah, I'm sleepy. I'm gonna take a nap. Maybe when I feel more energized after the nap, I'll keep learning or something. I don't know.